Yo, it's Monday. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. The Onora boys are in the building. This is the Lucky Lefty podcast brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, make sure that you do so.
Responsibly.
Gotta do it responsibly. Great weekend left. Two really good NBA games. Series tied 1-1. I said it would be in five. So I'm not shocked. I knew that's the type of game the Heat would have to play to win one. And, we moved forward down to Miami.
It's more interesting than people give it credit for, just because it's not the superstars that we hear of the most. I think it'll be underrated when it's all said and done.
Great. So I agree with you. I agree with you. It's funny, Left, because growing up in the city, you become detached when you move out to the suburbs. Your boy's about to tell on himself a little bit. So my boy hits me after service yesterday. He's like, yo, I'm throwing something on the grill. He stays on the low end of Chicago. It's kind of like an area called Bronzeville. It's kind of like a Harlem Renaissance type deal. It's like where the yuppie blacks, the up and coming stays, jazz clubs, black businesses. It's an up and coming area, the Kenwood Bronzeville area. Now, this area when I was growing up, Left, was notorious, bro. When you heard the low end, it was like you don't want to get caught on the low end.
That's right.
So yesterday, man, I drive, I park, I'm getting out the car, and I hear cat, 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 cat. Dude, you talking about somebody hit the ground, man.
Hit
I
the
hit
ground.
the ground, bruh. And so I'm on the ground and I'm calling my wife's name, like, babe, you all right? And she's like, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm on the ground. And then I hear pat, pat, pat. And she's like, it's fireworks, fool. I'm like, oh my God. They got me, Left.
Yeah,
They got me. They got me, Left.
better sorry.
They got me, Left. I'm so detached from the city, I don't know the difference anymore, bro. Back in the day, you know the difference. You know what I'm saying? You'll be walking down the block, you hear something, and be like, "Oh, what's that?" Like, "Oh man, that's such and so." Like that's nothing,
See,
bro.
when watch ESPN and John Morant too much, you think people just out here wilding.
They might have taken my car yesterday, Left. They might have taken my car, bro.
It will make it worse. Your wife, don't make it no better. She ain't there
The
to be like,
missus was like, "Where are you?" Like
didn't
she
duck
basically
either.
go,
Didn't duck with you, nothing. That's
no, no. She's from the 12 Deuce, so no, she's a real one. She's a
she
real
would be
one.
like, I'm tying my shoe. I'm tying my shoe down here. You done told you said on the ground. You didn't even say crouching. You just
Oh man. And I don't even know what had me in that mindset to immediately react like that, Left. I'm talking about I'm like getting out the car and immediately was like,
tell you is
yo,
watching TV and that news every day. They got you thinking everybody out here like John Wick.
oh man, dude. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. I saw something else crazy. There's actually a spot called Uncle Remus in Chicago, it's famous for their chicken wings. They have a four-piece chicken tender meal that's $14, bro.
What?
I said, there is no way. Now, if you're gonna put for six wings, I might pay $13-14. But for chicken
They're
tender,
not doing it.
no. Cook your own food, man. It costs too much to go out nowadays. Make
That's
sure you
highway robbery.
man, go to YouTube. That thumbs up, smash it for us. Helps with the views. Exclusively at CFB Nation on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can find us. We give you the audio edibles each and every day. That's the Lucky Lefty Podcast, home of the misguided passion. You already know. We spin it different. Yo, D Beezy, what's up, sis? She said the three-piece combo at Popeyes is 13 now. Word? See, man, look, it's been a while. Man, Popeyes used to be like $7 with the extra biscuit. Man.
That's treacherous, man.
I got B Hart 1074 getting on me, says Shaun the got served suburbanized.
It's really crazy to think about, man, how you don't get a lot of what's crazy is that actually during the pandemic, they were pushing out those family meals where you get like 6 chicken breasts, the 3 or 4 sides for like $30.
Mm-hmm.
Now with inflation, they flipped it on us. So now you get a small fry. Guess how much a ice cream cone is?
Oh, absolutely.
$2.19.
Yes.
$2.19.
Yes. That's bananas, right?
I said I wanted an ice cream cone, not a hamburger.
Yeah.
No, they said no, it's $2.19. Oh, they used to be $1.
Yeah.
99 cents. So it's crazy what's going on, man. Watch out there.
So we left off on Friday. You did a fabulous film evaluation of Catholic Memorial's 24 offensive tackle Gerby Lambert, who was supposed to be at Ohio State this past weekend, changed his schedule, came in to Notre Dame instead, and left. I gave a hypothetical reason as to which I thought that happened. And I thought to myself, this young man must have some really mindful people around him to tell him, look, there's a reason why you love Notre Dame and Notre Dame was your leader. Despite Harry Heastand not being there. Just because Harry's not there, don't just let this opportunity go by the wayside. Go check him out. Matter of fact, check them out first before you go see the other coaches that you have a relationship with, the other O-line coaches. And that's what he decided to do. He shows up on campus and Notre Dame wows him. I talked about this on the other show with B. Driscoll on Friday, I believe. I thought one of the most impactful things would be the current players on the offensive line that would be there. Because some come back early before they actually have to report. Some did come back. So not only did he have some of the commits there, he also had some of the current O-line players. And left, from experience, whether it's Harry or any other coach, the O-line of Notre Dame moves in unison, man.
Yeah, the whole group is there.
Yeah, it's like another brotherhood inside of the brotherhood. So the vibe he got, comes from a Catholic school, very familiar with how Notre Dame works, academics on point, and then Joe Rudolph had to seal the deal. He had to seal the deal.
That's the benefit of stuff like that. You get the influence of the guys that are currently there, and when current players show up, your temperature, competitive level rises as a player.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to be a part of a atmosphere like that, and that's why that's why it's on campus. You know what I mean? And that's the whole point about it, is that you put it on campus with the atmosphere there. Your parents are there. You're taking it all in. But the players being there is a free benefit, because we're just hanging out, usually coming after training table or something. We'll go over there. It's kind of kosher, but to those guys coming to campus huge, and you get to see who's coming up and see how they work in recruiting as well.
This young man, you broke down this film. He is a must get. He is a man. Not a technician like Joe Alt, more of a mauler. Already, man, proficient in the run blocking. Just the drive. He just got a nasty side to him. You can get him in, get him some technique. Joe Rudolph, that's one of the great things about Joe Rudolph. His resume at Wisconsin is being able to take guys that are unheralded and produce offensive linemen that are good offensive linemen, not only in college, but in the NFL. So development is his strength. He knows how to develop. He has an eye for guys that might not be that 5-star, that high 4-star. Gerby Lambert fits that mold of the high 4-star. So you put him next to a developer and a coach like Joe Rudolph, you might be cooking with grease.
Yeah, definitely cooking with grease. And I mean, Joe Rudolph, like you said, has the experience of being a lot of different places, coaching a lot of different positions. And so it's a trustable guy to be around, a guy that, has some wealth of knowledge on different things that can get you to the next level. And I think when you have that in the holster, as Marcus Freeman does, when you're bringing in other old linemen, come over Harry Heastand, who's hard to replace, but to fill in, I think Joe Rudolph, like we said back when he got hired, is a great fit in the transition of moving to something else, losing a guy like Harry Heastand.
But Notre Dame can overcome it. I
Yeah,
thought they overcame it when he chose to go to the Chicago Bears, and Notre Dame will overcome it. I think they built up enough cachet that the cachet itself is what got this young man to change his schedule.
bro.
The cachet. And so Notre Dame did a fantastic job. And not only that, according to the intel over at Irish Breakdown on a message board, they're probably the leader right now,
Mhm.
or back being the leader, because they were the leader without question when Harry Heastand was the one leading the charge recruiting this young man at offensive tackle. So that's a great piece of information coming out of this weekend, because we were waiting to see what Joe Rudolph could do. What side would he fall on? Is he one of the coaches that can't seal the deal, or would he be one of the coaches on the staff that's pretty good at sealing the deal with top talent at his position?
Yeah, sealing the deal with top talent is something that we have to be better at as a staff. That Marcus Freeman has changed drastically over the course of the couple of years he's been there, which is a positive moving forward in the future. When you add wins and more seasons to Marcus Freeman's journey, the retention on great talent and recruitment of great talent is going to get better with a staff that stays together, and then the ones that are being replaced and reloaded with have that experience coming in where we're not uh, developing coaches like we're developing these players too.
So I told you that there was a clone of one of your favorite wide receivers, Mr. Corey Robinson, who was once the student body president of Notre Dame. I just think that's super dope, bro.
Yeah,
I think that's super dope, man. My man left the gridiron like, man, you know what? I'm about to do this political thing. Corey Robinson. Now, he's doing a lot of work with NBC Sports and other things. And at the Irish Invasion, a kid from Vegas, the big time program out of Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman, 6'6" wide receiver Derek Meadows out of the 2025 class, received an offer from Notre Dame, 6'6", very raw, and ran very well. To get this type of kid, to get on him early and get him in the fold, Notre Dame does not have this type of kid that's 6'6" and can run well. Look, I'm starting to have flashes of Randy Moss, bro, when I hear 6'6" and can run. Like Corey was one thing, but 6'6" and can run, yes, sir. I love what I'm hearing. But can you pull him away? Bishop Gorman has a history of feeding other schools in the Pac-12, right? So it's going to be a task to get this young man away from the West Coast. But Chancey Stuckey has been on one, as we say. He has been on one. So if there's a coach on the staff that can do it, It would be
Chance.
Chancey Stuckey. Yeah.
And a lot of that too, man, when you think about it, he's been an elite recruiter of receivers, which is how he got to Notre Dame to begin with. So that's only trickling and translating into our program. And to see the talent raise, not that we didn't have talent before, like Dale Alexander claimed, but to have a talent from a recruitment standpoint where these guys are ranked and talked about and wrote about in many articles, you get to see that being on the Notre Dame campus, you get to change the perspective of, okay, is it the quarterback? Is it the coaching? Like, what is bringing these guys the attention to Notre Dame? And Marcus Freeman is a big hand in that, and Chancey Stuckey is really selling the vision up because we haven't been the team to have the most pass happy quarterbacks. So to be able to get these top receivers with the thought in their mind that we got somebody that's there that's throwing that rock around because we're gonna be something nice. I think he's been able to sell that the right way.
Would you like to watch some film of this Corey Robinson and tell us what you think left?
We're gonna have to.
Hey man, let's get to it. Derek Meadows, Bishop Gorman. He plays defensive end and wide receiver. Now that's a crazy time. Look at this kid, bro.
Yeah, he's just 6'6". It's crazy.
Bro. A 6'6" receiver is crazy.
Not to me, Rousey. I mean, they're not playing defense.
No, they're not. But they dominate in the Vegas area pretty consistently off coverage. He's going to take up space.
I mean, I don't know if I want to watch this because this is
this is 707.
You can't even tell if he's good or not. He's wide open.
But these highlights are from his true freshman year.
I mean, just this is freshman football.
This is freshman film.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. I know Las Vegas football isn't that great, but we're recruiting this young. Okay, I mean, hey. One of those kids is just better than everybody else.
Pretty much.
At this competition level. But, I mean, he's wiry. He runs around. I mean, I don't know what you kind of.
But it's one thing to watch his film, but it's one thing to actually see him up close and personal.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously going to be wanted by everybody because he's just one of those, close your eyes, you can do something. Fast, got a motor, tall, athletic. You just need him on your team. So who knows if he's going to be a great receiver at DN. He's going to find something. We actually, interestingly enough,
just get him on the roster, right? Just give him a spot. We'll figure out.
Like, who cares? Like, seriously, he beef him up, be offense tackle. Who knows? Did it to Joe Hall, so who cares? But, interesting enough, we have the same exact thing on our team. 6'6" guy, 16 years old. He got an offer from USC already, Utah, major time offers, but it's like, what are they offering him at? He only had a couple of tapes on varsity. That was not that much. Like, but you can see that they really like the potential. And, sometimes when you have a potential of a 6'6" kid that's playing football.
So talk about
get offered.
He ran a 4.5 left. So talk about
it doesn't matter. 6 at 16, and he's just playing. You can't get a 6'6" dude to just play football. So if he and he's not blocking or putting his hand in the dirt necessarily,
right,
you're gonna get off. Just automatically. That's just how, like, basketball, if you're 6'11", you're just gonna get one.
Yeah.
It don't really matter if you're not that good.
Right.
Who cares? This kid is 6'6". He's, fast. Who cares? He's playing football. You're not just gonna let him walk out there. You'll be crazy. Just let him walk out the door. No way. We have to offer you because you're just
because.
Just because
we have to offer you, kid.
We don't care about that. We've seen enough. That's the kid you just watch a couple of plays. Okay, he can move around, and he's 6'6". Oh, he's whatever you want him to be. So that's the advantage. That's why LeBron would have been nice at football. Played tight end, but he could have played whatever because he probably ran like a 4 or 5 when he was in 20-something years old. So
Jimmy Butler actually said he would have been nice at football.
I mean, yeah, Jimmy Butler's 6'6". And look at Jimmy Butler right now. You don't think he could have played defense or all? He could have played anything he wanted. Quarterback would have been sweet. So when you have a 6'6" prospect, summing this all up, you're getting offered.
Yeah.
You're getting offered.
Yeah. Irish Invasion, like you said, it was about 10 to 12 kids that really stood out. It's a fantastic weekend. You had kids on social media, posting pictures, showing love not only to Notre Dame, but the coaching staff, talking about the fabulous time they had. And I think it's a great weekend. It's going to continue to grow. Last year, they ended up getting C.J. Carr, Cam Williams, Aeneas Williams, and Jack Larson out of the Invasion. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if they're going to pull in a haul like that for the 25 season moving forward, but it sure would be nice to get a fast track start on the 25 season to get 2 or 3 of these kids to commit. Another kid, 2025, Christopher Burgess, Simeon Vocational High School. Yes, I said Simeon. They're known for basketball, but they play football as well. Remember, wide receiver Malik from Simeon was a target of Notre Dame in the 23 class before he committed to Cincinnati. And after the coaching change, he eventually settled down in Champaign with the Fighting Illini and Brett Bielema. Well, they come back to Simeon and Christopher Burgess, defensive end. This dude left, let me tell you, 6'4", 255, cut, long arms. Hey, it's one of those in Chicago at least every year. At least every year. And you have to find them. Man, from everything that I hear, he showed out. He flat out showed out. Which is crazy because I would say if you ask local people who is the best defensive player in the class of 25, the coaches would be split between Burgess and Nate Marshall from Fenwick. You have to remember Nate Marshall was the defensive player of the year in the same conference as Justin Scott. As a sophomore, he beat out Justin Scott for that award. Him and Chris Burgess, they're neck and neck. They're neck and neck. And it's just the fact Nate Marshall plays a little quarterback as well. Can throw it, can run it, does a lot. Burgess is just strictly, man, I'm coming to get this quarterback. And he does it probably better than anybody else in the state of Illinois, honestly. So Al Washington is getting a jump early. Al, that's right. Start off early with the Chicago kids. Lock them up. That's what you're supposed to do. Lock them up. That's what you're supposed to do. So let's talk about Kedron Young. You broke down his film as well, Left. He's my favorite running back left on the board. They don't need a second running back, but they've chosen to go ahead and get a second running back. And they can be picky because they can pretty much say this dude has to be a stud. We're not just about to just take anybody because we already have Aeneas Williams. So They go and they bring Kedron Young in. Look, this staff, we knew, right? What did we say? We said Dylan McCullough, he's going to do his job. We had full confidence on Friday that when Kedron Young got on campus, Dylan McCullough was going to make it happen. And lo and behold, what we hear is that Dylan McCullough, Marcus Freeman, and the entire staff did an excellent job with Kedron Young. And Kedron Young leaves with Notre Dame, in my opinion, at the top. Flat out at the top. And you get, yo, this might sound blasphemous to people. I can't think of a better 1-2 punch at running back that Notre Dame's had the last 5 years recruiting. That's about as far back as I'll go. At least over the last 5 years.
Major. Yeah, I'll probably say that.
At least over the last 5 years. You know, because when you look at his film, strong, inside run, and what is it that you said about him? He's just one cut and go.
Yeah, just a one cut go type of guy.
Let him run a lot of inside zone and do his thing. He doesn't need to run a lot of pitch plays. Give all the outside stuff to Aeneas Williams and let them be thunder and lightning. Just let them be thunder and lightning. Bronte Johnson, Fort Wayne, Indiana, is actually on campus right now. I wouldn't be shocked if Notre Dame came away with a commitment this weekend.
A commitment?
A commitment. And then, because what's happening a lot left is kids are committing, but then they want to announce. That happens a lot, especially when Notre Dame is like the clear-cut leader for some of these guys. Shaun committed a month before he announced.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he committed to Notre Dame almost 3 weeks before he announced it publicly. So kids are committing. I guess you can call it a silent commit. And then they're turning around and they just want to have the opportunity to make the announcement publicly at their own ceremonies and everything. So you got the Texas schools coming out to Kedron Young, of course, TCU, A&M, Texas Tech. So, Notre Dame is in a really, really good spot. Really good spot.
We need it.
They've done a great job of planting the flag in Texas over the last 2 years, bro.
Yeah, we have a good, healthy amount of Texas guys every year. Cam McDaniel, Torrey Hunter Jr., Corey Robinson. We get our, Nicholas Watkins, Jalen Brown. Yeah. So we got a lot of guys that can a pipeline that come from the Texas area, but
yeah,
every good college team has some Texas guys on it.
You have to like what you see. You have to like what you see from the haul that they've gotten from Texas, bro. It has been, started with the 3 receivers. Receivers. Yeah. They've done a great job. And I guess they felt like they had to, in a sense.
Keeping up with the Joneses a little bit.
All right, bro. Well, I told you about this kid being the number 1 pass rusher in the state of Illinois. And I'll give you a glimpse as to why I feel that way. Chris Burgess, Simeon Vocational High School. Of course, he's playing my alma mater, Morgan Park, right here in the green and orange.
There's a Morgan Park University, right?
Say it again.
There's a Morgan Park University.
I'm not sure. I've never heard of it.
I think Corey Holmes went there his last year or something like that.
Really?
Is Simeon's football team pretty good?
Oh, Simeon is religiously in the city championship just about every year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they dominated until Kenwood, who has Marquise Lightfoot and some other kids that have gotten offers from Alabama and Iowa. They put together a great program over at Kenwood to kind of rival them. So it's kind of like Morgan Park, Simeon, Kenwood, maybe a couple of other schools. So Yeah, I don't know who put together, man. He needs to get another editor, dude. Like,
Yeah,
yo.
bad take. I might have missed it. See, that's why the Chicago dudes getting messed over. They
Because of
highlight
tape.
tape guy
Because
ain't
of tape.
making music videos. He ain't making highlights. He making YouTube videos, man.
Oh man, Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation, in conjunction with Irish Breakdown, man. Give you the audio edible each and every day. You know how we do it. We spin it different. 25 class, Daniel Anderson was a running back out of Arkansas, Bryant, Arkansas. He stood out this weekend as well. You got Yvonne Taylor out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Catholic. Baton Rouge Catholic. Oh man, he's a safety left.
There we go.
Yeah, see, I knew the safety would tickle your fancy left.
Yeah. We talking good now.
Now you're like, okay, what are we talking about? And he's a kid that you're probably gonna have to fight. You would think LSU.
But Brian, say it ain't so. We should win battles against Brian. She'd be like, are you thinking about Coach Kelly? Don't. Come on.
Paul Mickey Jr. from Texas was also there. Had a good time. We'll see. He's gonna go take other visits. Uh, they have Bronte Johnson and some other safeties coming in, Davis Andrews, who, because of his affiliation with the Mormon Church, is probably going to be taking a mission within the next 12 months, most believe. Oliver Miles, Malcolm Ziegler. So Notre Dame's going to take most than like the first guy that they can lock up out of their group. And Bronte, in my opinion, more than likely is going to be probably the first.
See who we seal the deal on. I think we're building a great class.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said Yvonne Taylor is out of Winter Garden, Florida. He's out of Winter Garden, Florida. So our guy Brian Smith that came on with us said he has an opportunity to be a top 10 player in the state of Florida next year. Top 10. That's pretty good if you can be top 10 in the state of Florida.
And
And left,
in Vermont.
oh shoot, go ahead, check him out. You see the fire ring, a little bit better editing down in Florida than Chicago.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Okay. Definitely has range and runs through tackles. Physical at the point of attack. They playing a little 4 mini here.
Tip drill.
Good little ball skills.
Mm-hmm. Come on now, videographer. Come on, man. What's up with these highlights, man?
They working on it. Good ball skills. You like to see guys flying around the tip ball.
Oh, he read that.
Right out of this.
You got to come down with that.
Play. I don't know.
Oh, he likes to wolf a little bit too. Okay.
Hey, you get 30 extra points for that.
Oh,
RPO game look like it's gonna be on lock.
Yeah, it can dislodge you from the ball. Don't do it to him. Yep.
Decent open field tackler. You want a guy that's gonna fill that hole. That's what you want. He'll probably be using the same way the Oklahoma State
I
transferred.
like that play. He had the man in the zone, filtered back inside, was able to break it up.
Definitely a very instinctual player. You can tell he knows how to play the game the right way. He's got some versatility in him and good ball skills. So you can tell he grew up just around the football, being able to just have a knack for it and have good awareness for where it is in relation to the receiver. So you need that. A physical guy that also can have good ball skills is hard to find.
Man, special question from Terrence Westbrook. He said, Shaun, will you be at the East St. Louis versus Chicago Mount Carmel game August 26th? Terrence, this is the first time I knew that these two teams look, bro. You don't understand. You don't understand what this game right here means, boy. This, hey, let me tell you something. This is like Mark Carmel is respected but not liked in the Chicago area, bro. You got it? Because you just get tired of them winning.
They got the Patriots disease going on.
Yeah, very much so. But you have to
Winning after a while, people just like, you know what? I don't like
East Saint has always been that dominant program from downstate. That's always try to say we're the best program in the state. Even better than all the programs in Chicago. So this is a monumental matchup, bro. Monumental.
So they really believe that this is 1 versus 2 in the state.
Yeah. This is monumental. I don't think people understand how big this is. We cannot allow East Saint to come away with a W, bro. Cannot. You cannot.
Any star players on the team?
Well, Darian Dupree, who Notre Dame targeted for a while at running back. Mark Carmel, Parker starts, their linebacker. He went to the Irish Invasion last year. Michigan's on him. Illinois is on him. So, yeah. And East Saint always has big offensive linemen that the SEC gulps up. They usually have some players that end up in Champaign at Illinois. So, it's Power 5 talent on both sides. Absolutely.
No, you want a balanced competition schedule. That's why Notre Dame puts itself amongst itself.
Yeah. I'll say this. At East Saint, they play a crazy schedule, and Mount Carmel plays a crazy schedule. Because I think East Saint played Carnell Tate and IMG last year.
Oh, they're the national schedule.
Yeah, they play a national schedule. So, and then the Catholic League in Chicago is crazy just because for Mount Carmel. So, it should be a good one. Thank you for that, Terrence. I appreciate it.
That's right.
Chris Walker. Man, what's wrong with my tongue today, bro? Is Bronte a better wide receiver or defensive back? Left already said this when he broke down his film. He's a defensive back, bro. You just need that type of attitude. What you say? You need a dude like that on the squad.
Yeah, you need those ones with some issues because you need those ones that's not going to be afraid to put their nose in there when everybody else is going to make a business decision and start talking about, the movie with Will Smith and concussions. Oh, I'm trying to protect my NIL. I got to stay healthy. No, you need some guys that are going to go in there and just enjoy playing the game and what it takes to play the game at a high level. So not that they're sacrificing themselves, but they are dedicating themselves to, winning and everything included on a team aspect. So not everybody is like that. There's a lot of different personalities on football teams, but that's just one of them.
Yeah, you can say that. Lucky Lefty podcast. I would agree with that. Left, if you guys had won the championship in 2015, I'm going to ask you something and I want you to think about it, okay? and you went to the White House, who is the one person that you would be like, we cannot let him get on the microphone? Just think about it. Today,
The one person.
the one person, just think about it. As you think about it today, the Kansas City Chiefs visited President Joe Biden and the White House as the champions of the National Football League. And Patrick Mahomes made one of the greatest saves that you would probably ever see at the White House.
So I've been waiting for this.
Sorry.
That cat Pat was like, nah, bro.
Nah, they was not playing that. You know, they take that. You know, that's real serious. You know, that's real. Because they really wanted to tackle him.
Yes.
You know? They really wanted to they had to check his size. Said, all right, we had to just move the mic, but he was going down.
And you see how smooth Travis did it?
He had to stop playing quick because they would have, you know, any second longer they would have had to people jumping all out the place. So he tried it, which was great. It was fun.
Oh man,
He's the only one on the team, and other than Pat, could have probably tried it. But man, they definitely about to snatch his ass. He probably felt it too. As soon as he grabbed, he just felt dudes just rushing.
Dude, that cat Pat's like, no, because I think he might have.
About what?
He probably was trying to do that. You got to fight for your right.
Oh hell no.
At the White House, and Pat was like, "No, bro, we're not doing that, bro."
They would have. Care about no football.
I know we got the Stanley Cup Finals coming on, but Pat might have had the best save of the summer, bro.
Oh yeah.
Look how smooth he walked over to the mic.
I've been waiting for this.
Sorry.
Yeah, they play if they want to. We're not doing that right here, man.
Lucky Lefty podcast, dude.
It was one of those. It was one of those parents. Get your ass. Hey, I'm sorry, family. I'm sorry. You know, just get your. Hey, that's how you know. That's what you want your quarterback to do. Run the team. You know, you don't see nobody doing that to Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a time and place guy. You know, he'll do it on the boats and stuff.
And Trav probably had a little sauce too. Trav probably had a little sauce. He probably had a little sauce in him.
Of course.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with a little sauce, but man, good save by Patrick Mahomes. When we come back, Justice Scott saying what I've been saying. And then we'll talk about the art of the official visit with this dude right here. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. Welcome back to the Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Smash that thumb that's going up. Help us out with the views. Leave your comments. We respond to all. CFB Nation exclusively over at the platforms we previously spoke about. Audio edibles all the time. This week we gave you a double feature right on Sunday left. What I did was I dropped the best of Lucky Lefty with Wes Pritchett when he talks about all the great rivalries and winning the 1988 season and trying to double up in 89 only to lose down in Miami and how crushing that was. And by the way, Frank Stamps and Wes Pritchett just launched their own podcast. Go search for it wherever your podcasts are available. They said they want to come on and talk about it soon, so we're looking forward to that as well.
Is it a Notre Dame podcast or what?
Yes, it's Notre Dame and just kind of football in general. I did not know that Frank Stamps played for Nick Saban when he was the defensive coordinator for Belichick with the Browns. I just learned that.
No, that's actually pretty cool.
So he knows Nick Saban, very fond of Nick Saban. You just never know how
Well,
players and coaches are connected.
nepotism and coaching tree nepotism. There's
Yeah,
guys that are under somebody's tree when you get to that level of college football. It's kind of monopolized
yeah,
almost. It's like we need to change that guard.
yeah.
There's a huge power struggle with guys. Like, come on, some
Yeah,
of these
exactly.
coaches
How
are-
is Frank Vogel the coach of the Phoenix Suns?
yeah, like, come on.
Can we get
change
another? You couldn't find anybody?
we treating these positions, these coaching positions, that's like Black Hollywood. There's only 10 actors through my whole lifetime. For real. The Wood to the Think Like a Man to everything in between have been the same actors. You would have thought there was only 5, 10 black actors. So it's no different in these coaching positions where, you're seeing some younger ones, but how many times Doc Rivers gonna get a job? Not saying that the brother don't need a job, but
Oh, he's about to get a hell of a TV job. That's what he's about
yeah,
to do.
yeah, but that's the great pasture. But he been recycled about 5, 6 teams.
Yeah.
Like, dang, nobody want to coach NBA teams? Is that what it is, or they call what's the name out the bed?
See, this is the thing. Colin Park said because they need defense bad, they go get some defenders. The players. You have no defenders on the roster, but you're gonna go get a defensive coach. That's the goofiest thing in the world. How about don't trade away your best defenders, or just go get some defenders to help out the guys you have, and then hire a good coach, a good young coach.
Yeah,
It's lazy, man. It's lazy.
crazy.
And that's because of the relationship of the new owner and the relationship he has with Isaiah Thomas. And Isaiah Thomas recommended Frank Vogel because they go back to his time in Indiana. And it's like, come on, man.
Old guys doing old stuff.
It's wild, man. It's wild.
Monty in Detroit, he got a young team.
Yo, low key, he has some talent in
Got
Detroit.
Jaden Ivey,
Cade,
Cunningham.
they got a what?
Stewart.
They got the big kid from Golden State in the trade, Wiseman.
Yeah, Wiseman.
They got Wiseman. They got the other big kid, Duran, Jalen Duran.
Duran.
Yeah,
Hey, okay.
Donovich.
Like the Knicks.
Yeah, they just need a point guard. They need a
like
valuable point guard. Huh?
You don't like Cade as a point guard?
Cade can run the point, but you need someone that's going to pick up the pace. Cade slows the game down. Cade slows the game down. He's like DeMar DeRozan.
Oh, okay.
He's like DeMar DeRozan. He's very good in half court, but you need someone in this day's NBA that's going to pick up the pace and get you extra possessions.
Like an Austin Reeves kind of guy.
Absolutely. That's kind of why Chris Paul doesn't fit with KD and what's that guy's name? And Devin Booker, because
he can't run with them boys.
He can't run. He always wants to slow the pace down and pick and roll. And like, man, run.
That's what Sacramento does. And there
run. So let's talk about Notre Dame and the art of the official visit, Left. It's a lot of things that can happen. You come into the official visit, you're trying to get in on a kid. You're trying to get into the mix. You lead for a kid and you're trying to seal the deal with the kid. You're in the mix with a kid and you're trying to jump out ahead of the other schools that you're going to be fighting for. Is this a kid that's ready to commit, or is this a kid that's going into the fall? It's a lot of different things that go into these official visits and what's going on. Let's just talk about some of the key factors that Notre Dame is going to be focusing on this month to attack various situations with various recruits to come out with the best outcome for all. Give me the first thing you're focusing on as a staff with official visits.
You want to make sure as a staff for an official visit that you have all the logistics correct. It's really embarrassing if you don't have the guy. Like, it's a really good feeling as a recruit when you show up to airport and they waiting on you and they got your name on the little thing. They got the concierge service, they got itinerary, the little snacks in the car. They done got your bags already. That makes it feel official. So the luxury sauce, if you say, is what is premium on these visits, and then everything else kind of falls behind that. So as long as you got the top tier hand and foot service, you got the girl with you to take you around campus on the golf cart. You're not gonna be walking around no campus. You gotta make sure that you get the VIP seat. When moving place to place, you're not catching no Ubers. You know what I mean? You getting taken from place to place. You're getting catered. So that's the most important thing to an official visit. Because after that, I mean, everything else is everything else. You make sure you want to get your time in with your coaches. Want to make sure you see the locker room, talk to a few guys, have your time with the guys on your own. But the premier thing that makes an official visit, which takes the most time from the recruiting staff, is making sure the logistics, the flights, what your parents are good. If you're bringing siblings, bringing a friend, you got to have the passes together. You don't want to be waiting nowhere. You got to have the travel. You got to have if they eating. Got to have the hotel room nice. They walk in the hotel room, it's decked out. All the fancy cakes and muffins, and they ain't going to eat all of it necessarily, but it just needs to be in there. And then you got to have, for an official, you got to have some type of gear at your disposal. You can dish off on the side or set something up. That's where Oregon wins at. You go to Oregon on official visits, you're going to have your Nike shoe. They go talk to you in the back and be like, what's your shoe size? And try out these unreleased Jordans. Just take something home with you, That's how they hook them. They get them on the little, hey, I know you're doing your tour, but duck off into this side room. Let me show you some of this. Yeah. Back in the day, recruits used to steal gloves from our locker room. Because that was an important on a visit. I got to go back to my high school with some gloves or a towel or something. So, yeah, they used to raid the locker room, but, that's what the official visit has to be about. You got to leave with something. Like Denzel said, I got to leave here with something. And that's what's important, that from the logistics to the fancy treatment to the snacks to the leaving with a pair of shoes or some gear or something, that's what make the visit. Talking to the coaches. Everything after that, it kind of is subjective to where you at. They're going to show you the best things of what they got kind of thing. So it's very meticulous. You don't want to show the recruit too much or too little.
So you can do too much on an official visit as a staff?
Yeah, I'm not taking Bo Scarborough or Richard Young to all the academic buildings on campus or talking to the academic counselors all day or visiting the grotto necessarily. Like, I'm sure talking about a few things. Either transaction, development, or we can make your life luxurious being here. So gotta know who you're recruiting.
You definitely need to know who you're recruiting. Lucky Lefty Podcast came across this, Left. Tell me what you think about this. College football teams that spend the most money on recruiting. This was just in the SEC. Just in the SEC, bro. Do you realize that Georgia spends darn near twice as much as Alabama in recruiting?
Yeah.
Their budget? They spend $4.5 million a year on recruiting, bro. Second place is Texas A&M at 2.9. Tennessee at 2.9. Alabama at 2.3. And the Florida Gators coming in fifth at 1.6. You get what you pay for. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
And Kirby Smart, Georgia, they seem to be living that.
Hey, I mean, you don't get 25 stars for nothing. A lot of steaks, a lot of baked potatoes with the bacon and macaroni and sour cream and cheese, big lobsters, hibachi grills. They probably ain't ate so good before until they went on their official visit. That's another thing. I need the back room at Roof Chris with all the coaches and stuff. I gotta eat good, wine and dine. You know, it's all the things the recruiters not getting at home. So recruiting is an interesting thing. You know, you get some kids like Charles Jackson who's straight business.
Right. Wants to watch film. Yeah.
Give me Harry, he's staying for about 2-3 hours and I'll let you know.
Right.
Some dudes need the Lambo on campus. They want to do the photo shoot. You know, some dudes want to see where people living at. You know, how luxurious is that? Some people want the bag. They don't even care about what's on campus, what's in the duffel.
Yo, I remember you saying you hosted Will Fuller on his OV.
Yeah, you know, Will was real modest. Come in, just, you know, standard tour. Check, the Goog, you know, the coach is interested. Oh, okay, think about us, you know. I think he was recruited on a very less dramatic level, but that's Will. He's not too high, too low maintenance kind of guy. And turned out to be way better than what probably they intended. You know, just like Corey Robinson, they wasn't think Corey was no 5-star guy. They was like, man, that's Dave Robinson. Who knows? You know, who knows? Maybe it sheds off or something. And it did for the most part. So,
and then on the flip side, you hosted Ezekiel Elliott.
I was with him on the visit. He was taking a visit the same day I was, and so that's crazy. You don't know who people are till later or whatever. But
right,
there's another recruit on the thing. I mean, he was pretty highly touted, but they wasn't like, oh my god. It was like, no, it's just like Georgia's weekend. It was just a bunch of top dudes there.
Yeah.
You know, cool. And it just so happened I just remember us being cool after that conversation. But, you know, he made the right decision. Shit.
Oh, you can say that again. The podcast.
Tony offered and left us and went over there when he got there, and rest is history.
Before we move on, because there's a connection to that Georgia weekend. Matter of fact, let's just go straight to it. You talked about the fabulous recruiting weekend that took place down in Athens. And Justin Scott was there with his family. You know, posted a picture of him, his mom, his dad, and his sister. And we said going into it, what do we say, Left? Hell, Kirby ain't got to do nothing but take a step back and show the 2 trophies. And the draft the last 2 years. That's Kirby doesn't have to do what Miami's doing, all these backflips, social media posts, all of these theatrics, you know, to try and get out in front, get on top of his recruiting. Kirby's been real quiet. Brought him down there with the rest of the dogs that they have in the class, pun intended. Showed the trophies off. Showed him the NFL draft the last 2 years, specifically at his position. And lo and behold, Justin Scott's like, yep, I think I like the dogs. And matter of fact, I think they're right up there at the top with Notre Dame and Miami.
I mean, they should be. If you a top recruit in the country at this time and Georgia's on your line, out of respect, you should have them in a high position just because, you know, if they recruiting and winning championships and want you, I mean, I'd be damned if they wasn't in my top 3.
It's very interesting, Left, because I try to tell people all the time, like this young man is about as straightforward as you're going to get on the recruiting trail. When he says something, he means it. There's value in it, and you need to believe him.
He's not a Peyton Bowen.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like you ask him a question, he will answer the question and then go into detail without you even asking for the detail. We'll give you the detail of why he feels this way, how he got to that decision. And he's been very forthcoming. And that's what I've been telling people the whole time about Justin Scott, this recruitment. He's been forthcoming. And everything that he said since the beginning, when he canceled his January 31st decision, and he spoke to me about it face to face, he said, I know who Notre Dame is. Nothing has changed with Notre Dame. Notre Dame is locked in at the top. Now, Miami, Georgia, Ohio State, any other visits he has, Michigan, they have an opportunity to play catch up in the month of June. And from there, we'll see who can close the deal.
We will.
We'll see who can close the deal. But everyone was like, oh, Miami's out in front and leading the pack. And I said from the jump, Miami caught up to Notre Dame. That's what they did. They caught up.
They did.
And so Justin Scott this weekend says he has 3 teams right at the top. And he said Notre Dame before he said Miami. So,
well, I think it's also important too that we understand that Justin Scott is one of those top kids that sees the bigger picture, a really treasured recruit that Notre Dame finds in the process, that sees amongst the leaves of the NIL, sees amongst the leaves of the BS to a certain extent.
mm-hmm.
Understands that, he wants to make the right decision at the right time. But Notre Dame is right on time at the current time with where things are going. I don't feel as good as I do about this if Brian Kelly was in this position. Because if Georgia was on their line, he'd be like, oh, let's back off. He probably losing. He'll probably go off somewhere and we wouldn't have that fight. So it's huge to see us seal the deal on this, because moving forward, this can reverberate into more recruits for us at that level.
It would be huge. And it would go a long way. You talk about Christopher Burgess, seeing Justin Scott commit. You think Christopher Burgess out of Chicago isn't watching? You think he would take notice in the class of 25? You're darn right he would. And Nate Marshall in the class of 25 would take notice. And Tyron Turner, wide receiver in the 25 class, would take notice as well that Notre Dame is offered. So his recruitment has an opportunity to reverberate through the program, has a chance to reverberate through Chicago, and it has a chance to reverberate nationally from a recruiting standpoint for Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, nationally. That's the key right there. I mean, we're top 10 with a lot of hard work, but we'll be in that we'll crack that top 5 with guys like Justin Scott breaking in there for us on the recruiting level. I mean, this is what it's like when you're recruiting at a top tier level, where it's about getting 1% better. Justin Scott is 5% better, and that's what we're looking to do and crossing over into winning 11, 12 games a season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So once again, everybody's just frantically waiting for Justin Scott to play out. It's like, dude,
this is not a Keon Keeley situation.
I count it disrespectful that anytime a kid chooses a program other than Notre Dame, it's because of NIL. Like, oh, you don't want to go to Notre Dame? It must be NIL. People. Keon Keeley wanted to win and go to the NFL high. Alabama was better at doing that than Notre Dame right now at that position.
I mean, I don't know if I.
It is what it is. Look, you know me, bro. I think it is disrespectful to the intelligence of kids and their parents to think that every kid that doesn't choose Notre Dame is strictly in it for NIL. As if there aren't other good coaches in America that can recruit.
From a practical standpoint, though, it's not too many places.
Go back to when Chancey Stuckey was not the wide receiver coach. How many wide receivers needed NIL to go elsewhere?
Yeah,
exactly. Notre Dame doesn't have a great track record of recruiting safeties right now.
And we had Harrison Smith, Kyle Hamilton.
So every safety commit that chooses elsewhere besides Notre Dame is NIL?
Maybe Caleb Downs.
It's confusing to me, man. Caleb Downs is a smart kid, dude, salutatorian of his class. Parents love Notre Dame.
We're also talking about the top 2% of players. This isn't just like
absolutely.
Joe.
And the thing is, the top 2% of players want to win.
Yeah.
They want to win.
Not all of them necessarily want to make a team win because of them by themselves.
Exactly. They want to go play with other great players.
Yeah. Because they're looking on building things like how Georgia had it. Exactly. Everybody eats, everybody first round. They blowing teams out. They unfair because they super teaming. They saw what LeBron did in 13.
Here we go.
They saw how LeBron also dismantled super teams, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But from a construction standpoint, they saw what the benefit was, the glory that came in the D-Wade Miami Vice days with Bosch.
Uh-huh.
LeBron James. So these teams are like Kirby's pitching with, man, you saw what LeBron did with Miami Heat. That can be us. That can be us.
Mm-hmm. And
that's exactly what happened, man. So I really do think that the super teams that are clicking up out there when the kids know, these 7-on-7s, they get these super clicked up teams in 7-on-7, and it just translates into recruiting. So I think the niche of what's going on of building these super classes, I think Chancey Stuckey is right in the midst of it with the receivers and what he's doing. CJ Carr is playing his part and playing on these 7-on-7 tours and talking to these recruits as well, doing a great job as the leader of the class.
Uh-huh.
It's a good operation going on right now, and it's about finding the right guys to make it work. And it seems that we're doing that. And it's not necessarily the 1%ers, but Justice Scott being the 1%er added to that class just makes it even more Justice League-like.
Absolutely. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Irish Chi-Town has a comment or a question for you, Left. How much do you think the bag really makes a difference in recruiting?
Well, the one kid from Texas A&M is making $900-something thousand from doing TikToks, and now he's a good receiver now.
Uh-huh.
He's also making $900,000 as an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
In college with free board and tuition.
Uh-huh.
So just think about that. You 18, 900,000 racks coming to your bank account when you got food for free,
right?
Work for free, books for free. You just got to go out there and perform and make some TikTok. Or you can go to Notre Dame, take a full slated classes, full 6 classes, no 900,000. You get a couple perks here and there, free Chipotle every Wednesday, and you get to speak at the pep rally or something. But that's the difference. Staying in the dorms.
Yeah.
Eating training table instead of lobster and steak at Ruth Chris because you ain't got no NIL deal. That's the difference. The sacrifice. But hell, if I had a 1%er, go into college and make $4 million, it's just gonna be a tough decision. Because making that much.
But see, Left, this is the thing, Left, especially at the position you played. You talk about this constantly. You can have a 1%er at quarterback. We can use the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. I'm glad he decommitted from USC and went to Alabama. Because the turmoil that USC was going through, it wouldn't have been the right fit for Bryce Young. And that's not to say Bryce wouldn't have played well. But going to Alabama was a much better look for Bryce Young than going to USC at that time.
Yeah, well, you got 3 first-round receivers. Are you kidding me? And then you got a predecessors, plural, that have done it before you, or you just can watch and soak it in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as much as you want to talk about NIL.
No, he had $1 million before he started now. It's not.
No, this is what I'm saying. There is a time and a decision to make with NIL. And this is where you have to have sound people around you to be able to say, I don't care what they're giving you. Is it the right fit? Is it the best look for you? You talk about fit all the time, Left, when it comes to quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, you have to go to the place that's the best fit for you. You have to go to the place that's the right fit. Because if you don't, you're going to end up wasting 1 to 2 years as a quarterback and put yourself behind in your development. But you have the NIL money in your pocket, though. So it gets tricky. There are at least 3 players that committed to Notre Dame in the 23 class the final week before signing day that were offered 6 figures in NIL money and said no. Flat out. Because they wanted to be at Notre Dame.
They said no.
They said no. They said no to schools like Texas A&M and other Power 5 schools. They said no. That's why I call hogwash. It's no different than living in a neighborhood, bro. You're going to have some people that's going to go to crime. You're going to have some people that take the high road and go to education. You're going to have some other people that go via the trades and get a job and work hard. You choose your own path, man. Nobody's forcing you to go down the NIL path. In recruiting, no one's forcing these parents to take the most money. If they're taking the most money, that's probably the road they would go down in most situations. The microwavable road. That's what they want. The instant gratification. But people that aren't afraid to work hard and get it, they're probably more worried about the fit. It is what it is. That's everyday life.
That's
right.
No
different. It's no different in recruiting. So you can't put parents and kids in recruiting all in the same. No, DeMello Jones didn't go to Georgia because of NIL. He's an hour from campus. He just watched them win 2 national championships. And he just watched Kirby put 3 safeties in the NFL. Nothing else needs to be said. At some point, we can complain about Notre Dame in NIL when our biggest complaint should be the fact that Notre Dame's not winning big. Because if Notre Dame was winning big and winning big games consistently, they would get big-time players more consistently. That's it.
That's true.
You want to lock up big time players? Beat USC and Ohio State this year. Do that. Do that. You want to make a statement? Do that. All that other complaining, it is what it is. Especially when you know what it is what it is.
Yeah.
As Mason Cameron said, Notre Dame's not spending money. They're not.
Georgia probably got 6-7 more 5-stars once they beat Alabama. I think that game, when they won the championship the first time, got them a couple more.
The crazy thing is, they lost 2 of the top 5 players, if I'm not mistaken. I know they lost the number 1 running back in Georgia that went to Alabama, Justice Hayes, and Caleb Downs ended up going to Alabama. And Kirby's like, that's cool. We locked up like 8 of the top 10 in the state. Yeah, you can have those too. It's crazy. It's crazy. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. You know, it's so look,
a good feeder system of talent in state too. You know,
look, it's would you rather have? How would you?
Because I mean, think about it. We got Drake Bowen as our number 1 out of Indiana. If Caleb Downs was from Indiana, I think we would have a good shot.
Oh, know? Absolutely. Absolutely.
But if he's from Georgia, I mean, hell. I just find it hard to be so Notre Dame unless he's just so much different out of that culture, you know.
And I think news broke today that the number 1 linebacker to most in the 24 class and the number 1 linebacker in the state of Georgia committed to Clemson, Sammy Brown.
Oh, okay. I know Sammy Brown.
Kirby's like, all right. Kirby's like, okay. You know how many Sammy Browns are in the state of Georgia? How many talented linebackers are in the state of Georgia?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. So
don't worry about those Sammy. They got they make Nakobe Deans.
So, you know, man, you want to go to Clemson and get banged around by Notre Dame? Go right ahead, Sammy Brown. Go ahead. Clemson is who they are recruiting because they have won. Not because of NIL. Wait a minute, Left. Isn't Clemson whining about the lack of revenue right now?
I believe so.
They're whining to their conference, trying to get out of the contract and the TV deal because they're behind the schools in the Big Ten and the SEC in revenue and can't compete.
They're trying to make a move.
But they continue to recruit 5-stars. You know why? Because they've won. They win. Go win. You got your quarterback this year. You have a talented team. Go win. That's it. You stop all this Jack Swarbrick NIL talk because it is what it is. It's not changing. Go win. You want to change things? Go win. That's it.
That's the great equalizer.
Man, that's it. That's it. Just go win. Just go win. Lucky Lefty podcast, bro. We close up with news and congratulations to someone that was influential with Left that has just been inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. He's a Notre Dame great, Super Bowl champion, all-pro cornerback in the NFL, all-American cornerback at Notre Dame, and a national champion. None other than Notre Dame's own Todd Light.
That's right.
Congratulations, Coach.
Congratulations.
Left.
Well, one of the best coaches around, Coach Light, man.
It's been long overdue. The fact that he wasn't in the College Football Hall of Fame yet was crazy to me.
You know, they're going to make him work for it, but it's still good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy to me. But congratulations to you, Coach. And thank you for being part of Notre Dame history and being a great. You definitely brought me a championship, man. You know I appreciate you.
That's what I'm saying. He delivered.
Yes, sir. Lucky Lefty Podcast. You know what time it is, Left.
Petticoat. Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic Petty Junction?
Petty Junction, pettiest stories of the day brought to you by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. On the petty train. Cameron and Mace.
Oh, man.
For their comments about Scottie Pippen in lieu of him going off on Michael Jordan in a recent podcast. The way they laced him, and I need them to get the correct name of his ex-wife. Her name is Larsa, not Larissa.
Yeah, Larissa.
Cameron kept saying Larissa, but they ripped Scottie Pippen so bad.
Yeah.
That I felt bad for Scottie Pippen.
Why? Scottie won't stop. It's like, Scottie, stop, man.
When they said that she was going to filter down to LeBron's kids.
Yeah. Them boys are hilarious, man.
I said, man, these dudes have lost their minds.
Serious sports show, but the best show around.
Yo, another petty goes to Dame Dash, who was on with Math Hoffa and was asked about when he knew Rockefeller was done. This is what he said.
Actually, I knew that Rockefeller was over when they stopped playing pause. Like they, the other side was like kind of like, we don't do that no more. We grown, and it was like, it's over. I promise you.
I remember that interview and Bleak was like, I'm still playing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, no more collar shirts, and it was over.
Right.
Yo, Jay didn't want to play pause no more, man.
That's how you know when your boys grow up too much, man. It's over.
Yeah, when he went to the jeans with the button downs, it was a wrap. That's pretty much. Man, look. I hope and I pray that's the resolution of this Skip Bayless situation with Shannon Sharp leads to both sides coming away with what they want. But the information continues to roll out. And if the information that I continue to hear left is true, Fox Sports is to blame for everything.
Really?
Yeah, left. And they need to be put on the petty train. Because basically it was minimal time left on the contract, and the numbers and everything that had been done. Yeah, a pay increase was warranted.
Oh, okay. They just wasn't. They was on that good stewardship.
Yeah, So look, it's not just Notre Dame. It's Fox Sports as well that are on the good stewardship train. Not willing to pay. It is what it is. So just win, baby. That's it. Just go out and win. Just go out and win. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We talked about Justice Scott. We talked about recruiting, the official visits. We talked about the Irish invasion and who stood out. We showed film, broke that down. We gave you a lot right here, prime time on a Monday. We appreciate you guys for joining us. Once again, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation, YouTube, subscribe, the thumbs up, smash it for us. Leave your comments. We respond to all. When you go to CFB Nation via Apple Podcasts and Spotify, leave us 5 stars, leave your comments, and just lock in with us. We give you audio edibles each and every day. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. You already know. We spin it different. Left. See you tomorrow morning, man.
That's right. I like the evening schedules.
Man, the evening schedule is dope. We might make it every other day, prime time.
That's right.
And then just do mornings like on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll let you know. Lucky Lefty Podcast. For Left, I'm Shaun Davis. Tell Lil Left his podcast uncle said, "What's up, Left?"
That's right. Yeah, he's sleeping. We gonna put him right.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening, but most of all, make sure that you spend it different.